Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congrats on your first markup and for putting this strong border security bill together. I remember we had the Good Luck McCaul bill. We can't seem to get these things through Congress. And I will just say that I don't know what is partisan about this bill at all. This is a security bill. It gives Border Patrol exactly what they tell us they need. And I also want to thank my colleague from Texas, Mr. Gonzalez, for his support on this legislation. He knows this border, I would say, better than anybody because he lives there. And we all go down there to see it. And I was a federal prosecutor many years, had the border in my jurisdiction. I was chief of counterterrorism, national security. I chaired this committee for 3 terms. And to the ranking member, we got a lot of bipartisan border security bills passed. I hope we can do that, do more of that this Congress. But I failed to see what is partisan about this one. Because, and you talk about turning your backs. I mean, the secretary goes down to the border and the Border Patrol turns their back on him because, in their words, sir, you turned your back on us. And that's how they feel. That's how they feel. And Mr. Gonzalez knows this well. The morale of the Border Patrol is the worst I've ever seen it. It is wide open down there, and it didn't have to happen. It was a self-inflicted wound. The suicide rate within Border Patrol is the highest we've ever seen it. And it didn't have to happen. We were on a good trajectory. We were getting this thing under control for the first time in my career, and primarily because of the migrant protection protocols. Remain in Mexico was working. Now, that's not in this committee's jurisdiction, and I will be dealing with that issue as the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee so that we can return to what made sense that, you know, if you're going to apply for political asylum, you remain in Mexico, and if you 15% qualify, 85% don't. But it's fair because right now, if they get in, we don't have detention space, and it's catch and release. My very first bill in Congress 20 years ago was to end catch and release. And here we are 20 years later, catch and release. 5 million encounters, 100,000 people dead because of fentanyl coming into this country. This is a crisis. And this is a responsible bill to help secure this border. It's not going to solve the problem, but for God's sake, it's going to take a step in the right direction. And I thank the chairman for including one of my provisions that deals just with looking at reimbursement from the Government Accountability Office. My state alone, just this year, my state has budgeted $4.6 billion to deal with the border, the state of Texas. My state, as Mr. Gonzalez knows, has borne the brunt of this crisis and the cost for a federal mission. This is not a state job to be securing the border. It's a federal responsibility, and we've dumped it on the states, and mostly my state, that has spent billions of dollars trying to secure our citizens down there. And so, again, I don't understand the partisanship on this one. If you're just talking about physical infrastructure, you're talking about technology, you're talking about funding for more Border Patrol, Stone Garden grants. These are things we've been working on for a long time. It's common sense. And I applaud you for putting this together and getting the support you have. I hope we can go back to what this committee used to be, and that's being bipartisan, and particularly on an issue like this. You know, I know people like Mr. Correa lives in California. He sees this problem. We ought to be able to work together on some of these things. And I know you do. And we have. And we have in the past. And you know what? We'll see what happens with this one. But I hope we can do more of that in the future. And I just, again, want to commend the chairman. But for God's sakes, let's get this done. Time is running out on this. And people are dying. And there are a lot of people hurting, not only in this country, but south of the border because of these failed policies. And I yield back.